Welcome to the Team EF Coaching Performance Podcast, where we take information from the highest level of sport and make it accessible for all cyclists. I'm your host, Zach Morris, and in this episode, I'm sitting down with yet another very special guest, Mr. Michael Valgren. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
We're really excited to have you on the show for a bunch of reasons. Obviously, you're an amazing bike rider, but you're an amazing bike rider with what is a really interesting story at the moment. So you've, it's no secret, you've gone through a pretty big crash last season.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to kind of hear your perspective on, how you ended the season prior. You and I did a podcast or an interview or something like that previously, and it was an amazing season for you. You ended the season winning those two big Italian races, and it's like Michael Valgren is back and on top and maybe coming better than we've ever seen him before. So lead us into kind of like the end of that season and then into the crash and what you were kind of up to and how things were going for you, if you would.
Yeah. So obviously I had a good season in 2021, the end of it, with those races in Italy and third in the World Champs. So I was coming into 2020 with a lot of confidence. I'll start out strong. I'll be back at the top where I think I belong. And things didn't start out like I wanted. It was again a hard start, and I'm always a kind of a slow starter. I always has to get some races into the legs before I really start to ramp up things. Then just to take it a notch back before the racing. I was supposed to normally do the tour, but after the spring campaign, I did a race in Norway, got Corona, changed of race program. I was like, oh shit, am I going to be ready to do the tour, So that's why we changed the program for me to do this race, Route Occitanie, I think it's called. Mm-hmm. And I knew I was in good shape because I did some good numbers in training after my Corona, and I was even speaking to Charlie. I said, Charlie, do I need to do this race? Because I feel better with this training. And they were like, no, you need to go and see where you're at and make a result. And okay, cool. So I went there in good shape. I was on second on stage 2, so that showed some good legs, a small uphill finish, a few kilometers. And I just almost got it. Was passed by the last 20 meters or something. So I knew I had good legs. I felt kind of comfortable that I had a spot for the tour. Then the last day in the race, I was talking to TJ. He's like, "Oh, Michael, it could be nice to see you in the breakaway." I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'll try to go in the breakaway." The breakaway didn't go in the beginning, and then 4 guys went, and we actually been in it. But TJ didn't really know, and he's like, "Oh, Michael, you need to be there. You need to be there." And then I kind of attacked just before the last minute, before the peloton said, okay, no more riders. It was an attack on it. We started up in 1,600 meters, we had to go down to basically sea level. First 30K were basically downhill. So 4 guys breakaway was not my kind of thing, but the team would like me to be in the breakaway. So of course, I was going for it, and then felt fine. First corner going downhill, flying. Next one, third one. I was looking at the Wahoo. Oh, this corner ain't too bad. And I came there. I was like, oh shit, it's way sharper than it looks on the Wahoo, And at that moment, I just knew, okay, I'm gonna crash. I instantly knew. And even though it goes so fast, it goes so slow as well.
Right.
So I was even thinking, I have 2 options. I either brake and turn, and then I will slide into the barrier and crash, or I just go straight and hopefully I can brake as much as possible so I stop before the barrier. And of course, you choose the second one, no? Because you don't want to crash for sure.
Yeah, if there's a chance, you can save it.
Yeah, and that's what I thought was the second option. Looking back, I should have gone with the first one, but because I didn't brake enough, or I couldn't brake enough. I had too much speed, carrying too much speed around the corner, and I just basically went into the road furniture or the rope area.
Was it a metal grate?
Yeah. I went straight into it, and then fell down a cliff, and I probably fell down 8 to 10 meters.
Holy
I reckon. Yeah.
Crap.
So it was, and I landed in a tree and like on the rocks, and I felt immediately, okay, something is really bad.
Were you
here.
conscious the whole time, or were you
Yeah,
knocked
I
out cold?
remember everything. Basically, I remember. We have video. I could like show. I was like holding myself like 2 rocks on the mountain, like just like this, to make the story a bit longer, luckily a guy who was chasing me during the breakaway. Because if he weren't chasing me, I think no one would have seen me going over the road.
He saw you.
He was the only guy who saw me. So he saved it. He was a bit behind me, but he saw me going down. So he was basically saying to the peloton, "There's a guy down here." Because I was like in between the bunch and the breakaway, And then this guy was luckily behind me.
What's crazy about that is back in the car, TJ had no notification of that.
Yeah.
He got out of the car because he saw your water bottle on the road.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was quite lucky because a guy came down to me pretty quick. When he came down, I was like out of power, basically, to keep myself upright.
Okay.
And I was starting to slide down, But he could basically hold my body upright. They were pretty efficient.
There was a cliff below you, so you're hanging on with both hands, and there's a further drop below?
No, it was just like a steady drop.
But you're going to roll down this mountain?
Yeah. I think
Holy crap.
I didn't notice, to my right. So let's say if I crashed here, if I would have turned let's say 50 meters more to the right and crashed here, the ditch would have been like 30 to 50 meters drop.
Oh my goodness.
But I didn't notice that, which I'm pretty happy I didn't see. So all in all, I knew something was wrong, but when I look back, I can be happy I didn't hit my head or my spine, or I didn't get paralyzed or anything. I only broke my pelvis and my knee. So I think I can be really, really lucky.
You are lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
That is very, very fortunate.
Yeah. So that's also the way I see it. And the guys, they came pretty quick to help me. They got a rope down, tie a rope around my chest, and they basically just were pulling me up like a little puppet, wow. Just dangling in the air. Yeah, that was a bit crazy. But I remember everything. I remember the long 3-hour drive in the ambulance to the hospital.
Oh, that must have been brutal. Did you get any painkillers in there?
Yeah, I got morphine, the maximum I could get. But I don't know, I was still in a lot of pain. And I was speaking to my doctor about it, but he's like, "Michael, you had a lot of morphine. Like you can't get more. This can knock out elephants normally." And I was like, "Give me more." And he said actually later on they have found out a study in Norway that it's not many percent, but some of the percent of the Norwegian people are actually immune to morphine.
Really?
Yeah, and I think I might be one of them, even though I'm not Norwegian, but maybe because I had morphine after the surgery as well, and sometimes paracetamol would be way more beneficial for me.
Okay.
So, morphine, you can go home.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, where did things go from there? You're in the hospital. Did you have surgery?
Yeah. So, I spent the first 3 days in Carcassonne Hospital, where I basically just stayed because they didn't have room for me in Nice. I was going to Nice to see a hip surgeon specialist.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed 3 nights in Carcassonne, got transferred to Nice, waited 3 more days to get my hip surgery. Then I waited another 4 days to get my knee done. Then I think another 4 days in hospital or something like that. I think I spent almost 2 weeks in hospital before I came home.
And then home was back to Monaco?
Yeah, back to Monaco. I've been in Monaco ever since. So back in Monaco, there's a really good physio who work with all the best cyclists who have had problems, all the best tennis players. He's a really good guy.
Awesome.
So I worked really intense with him. He came to see me the first day I was home from hospital and said, I come to the clinic Monday and we'll start with you, work with you. And I've been there from every Monday to Friday for the last 5 months. Yeah.
So what have those last 5 months looked like for you? From a mental perspective, how did you see things in the beginning, and how has that changed?
Yeah,
now?
it changed a lot actually in those 5 months, because in the beginning, the physio was like, "Yeah, Mike, you'll be fine. You'll come back stronger." Blah blah blah. So that's what I had in my mind, and he would even tell me like days where he think I could be back on the bike. then I had, of course, some few ups and downs, which is normal. And then I didn't get back on the bike that day. He basically said because of my knee. My knee has been not so great doing this rehab, unfortunately. That's really hard, when you have a date and you're a cyclist, you're a racer, you basically want to beat that day, right? You want to come back before, and I didn't, and I was like, no way. I was no way near to go back on the bike. So it was quite frustrating. But I just kept working hard. I just kept following what all the experts were saying. I was in contact with the team doctors, the team physios, and I went to see some different specialists in London and had some talks to some guy in Belgium. I've been all around to get just the best advices. And the thing is, like with my knee, luckily, the surgery went well, and the knee just takes time. For some, it takes not so long like mine, but mine has just been.
What is the injury on your knee right now?
I tore, or how do you say, like my ACL, something called an MCL, and my meniscus. They were all, broken. So they fixed
full spectrum.
Yeah, they fixed everything, and so I can be really happy with both my surgeries, especially the hip guy. He did an amazing job, because that's basically what we thought would be the worst, like in terms of rehab, in terms of coming back. But my hip has been doing really great, so I can really be happy with that. And the knee will eventually get all right, I'm pretty sure of. But yeah, like in the beginning with rehab, it's I was spending 5 to 6 hours a day at the medical center, doing a lot of, especially like a lot of passive machines. I was going to hyperbaric chamber. I was doing game ready, compacts, you name it. I was doing blood flow restriction stuff, and then just like normal physio stuff and mobilization. So it's hard work. It was hard work, and it is hard work. Like it's way easier to be a bike rider. It's just ride your bike, eat well, sleep well. But here's like it's proper hard, because the balance is really fine of doing like too much or too little. Like it's really hard to find that balance. But I'm starting to get a master of it, I think.
Right. So in many sports, we've seen athletes come back from injuries like this actually better. And a lot of times it's because athletes have to go and kind of discover new things about their body. Maybe they find new ways to recruit more muscle fibers in their motion or activity that they do. And a lot of times it's just a change and shift in mindset. Often, great athletes like yourself are their own toughest critics. And when you take a step outside of what you do every single day and you're forced to really take a look at who you were at your peak, you really start to appreciate it. And I think it would be interesting because it sounds like you're somebody who said, okay, you know what, I'm injured right now, but this is my biggest challenge right now. This is like racing the Tour de France. I'm going to do every single thing I can to come out of this better than I was before I left.
Yeah.
So has your mentality changed at all from the time you were injured until now?
Yeah, it has. I have the mentality, like you're saying, like, I want to get back. I want to get back better and stronger. Luckily, I'm not so old yet. I'm only 30, so I think I still have a young enough body to heal well. You can't really compare, but you can see Evenepoel. He had a back crash in Lombardia.
Yeah.
He came back, and he's like one of the best riders now in the world.
He had a lot of complications as well.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can say this, but he's kind of like a role model to me, because he came back stronger. So he's a guy I'm kind of trying to refer myself to. But yeah, during my hard times, and also because I didn't really think about it, but there was this opportunity to maybe look into the disability insurance. But it was nothing that I never thought of until my agents brought it on the field. Then, of course, you start to look at it and you're like, shit, could I race my last bike race, And when they told me that, I burst into tears. Like I was not ready to stop my career,
Right.
Luckily, I don't have to use it for the moment. I think, or I know I will come back. Like how the things are going now, I'm surely gonna come back. But it has been like some really really lows where I'm like, oh, this is it. I'm not gonna make it. But I had a really good support from my family. They've been amazing. My wife is unbelievable. Also, the team has been supporting me like a lot. They gave me the opportunity to, step back to the Conti team, to come back in the right way. They trusted me with all the physios, with the doctors, and all the help I want. I just have to, make a phone call and they're there for me. So that means a lot, because if I was just being left there all by myself, I think it would have been really, really hard.
I was really happy to see you at this World Tour camp. I saw you shifted to the Conti team, and I didn't get a chance to talk to you about it or anything like that. And when I saw you here, I immediately felt like that was the right thing to do.
Yeah. I'm so happy to be here because, I'm a cyclist. I'm a bike rider. And
a really good cyclist.
Yeah,
a really good bike rider, man.
And I've been home the last 5 months. It's not normal for me. Normally I live this nomad life, packing, living all random hotels and good food, bad food, stuff like that.
Chaos.
And I used to cycling is a lot about gossip and what's going on in the peloton. And
right.
I heard nothing. I like rumors. I like to get some insight. But the last 5 months I've just been left out, kind of, because normally I get it just from my training mates back in Monaco. Mm-hmm. But since I couldn't train, I didn't see them that much. And I've been busy. Like a normal day for me, the last 2 months would be like wake up 6:30 on a good day, get Axel ready for school, take him there at 8, come back at 9, get dressed, train from 9:30 to 12:15, quick lunch, shower, go to my physio at 1, come back at 4, go straight to pick up Axel again at kindergarten, come back at 5, cook dinner, put him to bed at 7, and then my day is over.
Yeah.
And then that's exhausting in the long run. So to make a long story again, like my wife's been pregnant during all this period, So of course, when you're like 30 weeks pregnant, you're not like really mobile either,
Right.
So I had to do a lot of stuff. Well, she had to do a lot of stuff in the beginning. So we kind of took our turns. So it's kind of nice just to be here in training camp to just do my thing. Relax, train, get physio, get some rehab done, and just take a nap if there's time for that. That's pretty good.
What is it? Was it a bit of a reminder of like really who you are? Even though you switched down to the Continental team, it's like you're here with all the top dogs. You're here. You're a part of the team.
Yeah.
Did that feel good?
Yeah. The best part is like I feel like no one forgot about me. Like I just fit right in again. It's not like I have to, sit by myself or, be shy and all this. Like people have been I have some really good teammates. I have some really good friends here. And
Well, I think the organization looks at you as very much a leader. You are a leader. The way you carry yourself, that energy.
Yeah.
And
could be like something I'm working on definitely. I think like but now I have quite a lot of experience. I think maybe I'm the 6th or 7th oldest in the team, so I'm getting quite old, unfortunately. But it's a nice role, but especially for myself because I know my body now so good that I don't make the same mistakes that I used to do, like when I was 25.
Right.
I think I will. That's also I think why I'll come back stronger. I know a lot more now. And also have the knowledge from the team around me to help to guide me the last bit,
So you've had a lot of time. Well, you haven't. It sounds like you've been pretty busy. But after 7 p.m. rolls around and you're laying there, you've had a lot of time to think about what you want to do in the future. Have you built up any big dreams about what a perfect comeback would look like for you? Any races you want to win? Any things you really want to accomplish?
Not really. I think it's because I've had so many lows, and people are asking me already now, "Hey Michael, when do you come back? When do you start racing again?" I was like, I don't know. I wish I could say like I'll race 1st of February, but but I don't think so. Because I just don't know how long it takes to build shape. Basically, I didn't do any endurance for 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
Just started training a month ago. And of course, you start out slow, and my shape is really shit. But it's going fast. But I don't know how long it takes to build a proper shape to be racing a bike race. I hope I can be racing in May at a really good level. That's what I think. I think now I'm still training less than what I can, but not what I should. I think we have a good program, a plan with the doctors. I think for me now less is more on the road, but then the more the better in the gym kind of stuff to build back my muscle, because I lost a lot of muscle in the legs, in the left leg obviously, and just to build that so I don't compensate too much when I'm on the bike to prevent getting an injury on the right side because I'm compensating too much and stuff like that. So we have a good plan. Obviously, when I'm on the Conti team now, I can't race any World Tour races the next year. So I think 2024 will be the year I have to be thinking about some big goals, because I want to win World Tour races, and eventually I want to win the stage in the Tour. That's like my dream. So that would be the best comeback, I think, to win the stage in the Tour in 2024. Maybe even I don't know the stages how they looks like, but I think in 2024 we finished the last stage with the TT from Monaco to Nice, and I think the day before we should finish around Nice. So that could be nice to do a good result there, because it's kind of like my home soil now. I've been living in Monaco for 6.5 years now.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely want to see you achieve those dreams and live those dreams. And it's moments like these where you really kind of make them a reality. You're doing all the work right now to actually make those part of your future. So don't ever think that you don't deserve them when you get back to the top, because you definitely do. But I have a question for you. After going through this, is there any advice that you would give to somebody who's maybe facing an injury that could end their time in sport or doing something that they really love to do?
Yeah. It sounds a bit cliche maybe, but I think patience is key, and then just keep believing. If you start to lose faith, then the days are really long and hard, and then don't overdo things. When you can do something because you're doing well, then do it 80%, not 120 in the first part of your rehab. Because I had a lot of 2 step forward, 1.5 step back, because I think I did a bit too much. I got carried away. I think that's just the type of rider I am. I like to train a lot. I like to do my best in every training. So in these moments when you can finally start to cycle again, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do 3 hours now. But you probably should start with 1. You know what I mean?
Right.
So patience is like really, really good to have, but it's so hard. And then I just say have a good team around you to guide you, especially when you're going through like hard times. It's better to ask one time too much than one time too little, because that's the reason why there are people are called experts, because they know about these things. You might have an idea how you think things should be going, but maybe that's not reality, So reach out when you're in doubt. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that was very helpful. Michael, I know you're busy. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show today. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
From the bottom of my heart, man, I really want to see you back at the top. And I think there's a lot of people that share the same feelings as me. So we're rooting for you, man.
Thanks, Zach. Thank you very much. Thank you.